Well, to start out, we first want to make a question for you. We'll make it a little bit interactive. I want to know how do you define stress? Before we're talking about stress, what is stress for you? So if you want to talk, put something in the chat, or if you want to talk, you just raise your hand and unmute yourself. So how do you define stress? I want to hear what you have to say. Who wants to speak up? When we talk about stress, we need to know what are we talking about? Yeah.
Stress. I guess stress is outside or even internal factors that cause worry, high blood pressure. Yeah. Cortisol. Yeah. For me, it's worry. Yeah.
Okay. That is an interesting point here. You're saying it's some external or internal factors and causing worry. So it involves some thought processes, some emotions. That's very important to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. What else? What do you think is stress? How do you define stress? When we're here to talk about stress, we need to define what is it? Myth, yes. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm thinking that stress is anything, whether perceived or real, that basically causes one to be out of balance with, who they normally are under like calm circumstances.
Okay. So you see, you normally are calm, or you expect things to be calm. And when you're stressed, and it's getting you off balance. Okay. What else?
We have Carla here that says any strain on mental health. Strain on mental health. That's a good one too. Absolutely.
Okay. Who else wants to define stress?
What about defining also things that are in our control and things that are out of our control that can also attribute it to stress? So there are some things that is out of control that causes stress and things that are in our control.
Dog.
I'm just curious what others think about that. What are some things that you find you can't control or that you can control that causes stress?
You're okay.
Yes.
Linda, you want to talk?
Did I hear something?
He's making some noise. Go to preferences here. Well, or your.
I think I heard someone
Yes.
share. Somebody want to share?
I don't know. Linda was talking. I don't know if she wanted to speak up. I
Oh,
don't know. So, any other thoughts? What is stress? So,
Yeah, that is stand.
yes, Linda, you wanted to talk?
that's a good one. Carla put in here cancellation of major programs due to weather condition. Yeah, that's a good one, right? Because that's something out of your
Okay, well,
control that can
I'll
cause
just come
stress.
in, and I guess if something comes on, we'll hear it.
I'm hearing somebody speaking. Do you want to
No.
share or you need to just mute yourself?
Yes, Linda, thank you for this. Carla was content. Okay. All right. So the things out of our control, and there are things in our control that can cause us stress. Okay. But this thing, what is making certain things stressful? Did you think about that? Why is something stressful for you? Sometimes we think, the crazy boss is making us stressful, or too much work, or it's lack of money, or things like that. Time pressures, yeah. There are many things we think are making us stressed. But in reality, it's not so much, what is happening around us. It's more, how do we perceive the things that are happening? It's not what is happening, but what do you perceive? What do you see is happening around you? What do you see? How do you see the things? What's going on around you? And there may be a person, going to the exact same thing. One person will be stressed, another one is not. So it's very much individual. How much you can cope with, and it is also how do you think certain things going to affect you. When you think that something is going to cause, causing you harm, or something that is going to be dangerous for you, you're going to be stressed. If you think you can handle it fine, there's no problem, then stress is not going to be so much of an issue for you. So it's very much, what we think about things around us. The thoughts are very much affecting our stress response. And surely there are things that needs to be worried about, and there are certain things that we probably need to tackle and change. But really, stress is very much a perception of how do you see things, how do you react to certain things, You can react to one way or another way, It's very much defined on how you react to the stress. How do you react to the stressor, or the source of the stress that is going to determine how it's going to affect you. All right. Anybody wants to comment on that, or otherwise we go right into the presentation.
Well, I see here, Martin, a few comments that I just wanted to point out. One, Smith said a good point that stress, when we usually perceive stress as out of control, out of our control. But my question is, are there times where stress can be in control, or you can be in control when you're under stress, even though you feel out of control? But that was a good point there, that a lot of times we perceive stress as being out of control. And then Margaret put here, lacking coping strategies to be able to deal with the problem, and time pressure. I can really attest to that as well. That can actually definitely cause some stress. Oh, and Carla put unable to complete deadlines due to illness. That's a big deal as well. And if you're sick, on top of having other things you have to deal with, that can actually add on to more stress.
Surely there are many things that can play in here, and one is affecting us more than the other. But we also need to analyze a little bit, how do we think about stress, and what are we really doing about it, And here I want to get into our presentation of today. There are actually 6 factors that are going to determine to a great part, if you're going to be stressed or not. And I want to get over those here. Just let me see the screen. You can see my screen? Everything fine? So today we are tackling 7 pitfalls that will cause you excessive stress. 7 things causing you stress. It's actually very interesting to see how much we can influence our stress response. And also, what is really going on in our life that is causing us stress. And sometimes we think too much about the crazy boss and other things, around us. But are there other factors that's going to cause us stress? That's something we need to think about, 7 pitfalls. The first one is anger. You know that anger is causing us stress. Anger is causing stress just as much for the person who is angry, as well as for the person who is suffering and the person who is angry. Both of them is going to be a stressful situation, Anger is something that is causing us stress, How is anger expressed? Can be expressed in different ways, Anger can be expressed in screaming, yelling at somebody, being really all wrapped up, railing. Bullying is a form of anger. Physical abuse, sometimes person can be beating up because of anger, But it can be also passive. Sometimes there's passive anger, like not responding, pointing or running away, all of these passive controls. And really, anger is always a way of controlling another person by any kind of form of coercion, You're trying to make the other person behave in certain ways that you want by force, That's anger, Any kind of force, you are trying or coerce another person to behave a certain way. That's what anger is going to do, That kind of reaction that you show and everything else. You're trying to control another person, That's always the issue behind anger, And actually, anger is driven by fear. That's quite interesting as well to see, fear is driving our anger. Fear to be out of control. If you think you're losing control, you're getting angry about it and all wrapped up, and you're getting all of these feelings around it. And that's why you're going to express anger, fear of losing somebody can drive anger, or fear from missing our goals. It's a fear factor that is going to make you angry. And anger is going now to trigger the stress response, because that's a kind of choleric person, the driven personality that's getting kicked in here and trying to achieve what you want to do, And anger is triggering the stress response very, very, very quickly here, The problems of anger. Anger personality will have an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, all these different stress programs that's going on. You have a higher incidence of stomach ulcers, gastrointestinal problems as well. That's how it's infecting our health. It's also undermining relationships. If we're angry, relationships will be suffering from that. And can lead to physical abuse, even killing somebody, if you're really angry. So many times, somebody didn't even premeditate to kill somebody, but, out of rage, out of anger, they're just overreacting to that, So really, anger is something we need to think about, what are healthier ways to control our anger, The second point that I found is causing quite a bit of stress, or at least maybe anger is causing stress just as well, but person who is angry, maybe it doesn't look that much for help. They think that it's okay. But the one who is perfectionist, that's the one who is probably more likely to seek some help for that. And I see about 90% of those who are coming to me for helping with stress control have some kind of problem with perfectionism. So perfectionism is something that also driving our stress. And actually, the high achiever and perfectionists are two characters that are pretty close, that seem to be similar at the beginning, because both of them pushing themselves to the limit. They're trying to do the maximum possible. Both of them strive for excellence. Both of them are goal-oriented. Both of them want to do really the best they can, have some goals to achieve. But the high achiever, he is driven, he's focusing on his achievements. He is driven by achieving, doing the best he can. And the perfectionist is driven for a fear of failure. He's focusing on the failure, and that is driving him to do his best, because he doesn't want to fail. The high achiever is the one who strives to be the best he can. He just wants to be the best of himself, He just give his best what he can. The perfectionist is driven because he cannot tolerate mistakes. That's quite a different motive, He's doing these things because he doesn't want to fail. He doesn't want to make a mistake, So that's causing quite a bit of stress. The high achiever can do the same kind of thing, but he is not going to be that much stressed because he's doing that just to give his best, and he will do that, without too much pressure, But the perfectionist is terribly driven by pressure because he is afraid of failing, This fear of failure is driving him, What are some signs of perfectionism, If you're taking things too far, you just want to get it perfect, and anything else is not going to do. You're longing for the high school days where life was very simple. If you're being judgmental to others, that is another sign that could be showing stress. Being hard to yourself, you're hard on your mistakes. Any mistake you make, you're a failure. You have a difficulty to accept help because you think everything you do, you just need to do it perfect. And if you delegate something, you're afraid that things are not going to be done the right way. If you're overthinking decisions that you make, you're thinking too much. If you to procrastinate quite a bit because you fear to fail, you're afraid to make it something wrong. That's why you don't even start, That's procrastination because of fear of failure, These are some typical signs that you're dealing with perfectionism. And really, perfectionism is an effort to get a sense of self-worth by achievements. So you're defining your worth by the things that you do. And if you're not going to do it perfect, then your self-worth is kind of diminished by that, And the problem of perfectionism is that, that you think you're only worthy of attention, you're only worthy if you do everything right. And that is an attitude that's causing us a lot of stress, So where's it coming from? It can be coming from demanding parents, parents who just have this kind of expectations from you. It can come from role models of your parents, that they have been perfectionistic and, here the wife is showing the husband, wipe this little spot here, there's a little spot left, you need to make it perfect, kind of thing. If you see it in the parents, maybe you kind of model the same thing in your life. It can be because the parents were emotionally unavailable, they were just too busy. And you thought by doing things right that you are worthy of attention, you're trying to get attention by being just a perfect child, And that is sometimes the motive of perfectionism. Or it can be dysfunctional parents, a dad who is has some alcohol problems or things like that, any kind of problems with drugs. And sometimes the kids are thinking that they're kind of the cause of the problem, That is sad because you don't behave right. And if you do just things, everything right, then you know that you're going to fix that is problem, you know. And that's also a wrong thinking that sometimes kids have, and they have a tendency to perfectionism because of that, you know. Sometimes it's a chaotic home that want to try to control something in their life by doing something just right to control another aspect, because the life is out of chaos, you know, around them, you know. So the different reasons that can lead you to that. What are the disadvantages? You know, a perfectionist will waste a lot of time with trying to do something just right, you know. Creating a lot of stress, you know, because you just don't get everything perfect, you know. And any kind of failure is stress for you. You're kind of losing sight of the big picture, you know. You're, instead of focusing on the big thing, you know, to do that thing that is really making a difference in your life, you're going to focus on this little thing that you need to just perfect right now, you know. You need to perfect that thing, and before you don't get it right, you know, you don't go on to another thing, you know. It's causing a lot of stress and a lot of time, and you're really losing sight of the big picture, you know. And you can't relax, you know, because you always need to strive to do more. You're never happy with the results, and it's causing a lot of frustration, you know, this kind of perfectionism. So we really need to work on our attitudes and see how can we work it out to have a more healthy expectation about these things, you know. The next point is time urgency. Time urgency is another thing that is quite a source of stress, is an indicator of stress, and also causing us stress. So what are the signs of time urgency? You know, busy schedule, tight deadlines, always rushing to get things done, multitasking, trying to do several things at the same time because you need to make the best of the time. You're interrupting others because when they're speaking too slow, you know, it's thinking, yeah, come on, you know, get to the point, you know, or yes, okay, I got that, you know, go on, you know, that kind of things. If you're never relaxing, you know, because you need to use a time, you know, that's the kind of personality that has this kind of time urgency, you know. And sometimes, many times, it can be the motive behind it, kind of a fear of rejection, of disapproval, you know, that you need to do more of your life, you know, this kind of thing, this kind of thought pattern that, you know, if you don't do your best, then you're not worth it, right? That, you know, it's the same like the perfectionist can be the same motives for getting this time urgency, you know. And surely time urgency is keeping the stress response again in a high gear and has a direct impact on the stress levels, you know. What are the problems of the time urgency personality? You know, you have high risk of cardiovascular disease, gastrointestinal problems. That's quite similar like the anger personality. That is a driven A personality, you know, the kind of personality that wants to get things done, and, you know, they want to advance, and, you know, but going too far on that is surely having an impact on your health, you know. You're constantly on edge, you cannot relax, you know, it is causing quite a bit of stress, you know, but everybody has 24 hours a day, you know. Question, what do you do with this time? Use it wisely, but also you can't do everything, you know, to see some priorities, you know, to see what is most important for you. You need to have a way to kind of be more realistic, and instead of trying to do everything, see what is the most important thing they need to get done. And focus on that one. And forget about some other things, you know. Rather do something well instead of doing everything and being rushed all the time, you know. The next point that is showing kind of is a stress sign is disappointment. Disappointment is also something that is a stress sign and can also lead to quite a bit of stress. So what are the causes of disappointment? Disappointment is based on some kind of unfulfilled expectations. You have a certain expectation that doesn't come through the way you thought it would be. The kind of thinking negatively of others. It's a faulty thinking pattern, involved in that, The kind of thoughts you have of other people are a little bit of distorted, maybe. And the person who is here with a disappointment personality is thinking, this is what I expect and nothing else will do, It needs to be this way. Life needs to be this way. You have certain expectations, and if your expectation doesn't come through, then a kind of disappointment that with life, disappointment with other people, this kind of thing, So what is the problem with a disappointment personality, You tend to get more headaches, gastrointestinal problems, moist palms, perspiration, and other health issues, It's kind of having some impacts on your health. Disappointment will also paralyze your relationships, if you always this kind of mood. It's going to be affect, how you relate to other people. It leads to ruminating negative thoughts in your life, You're always ruminating some thoughts that are kind of negative, and your disappointment is life, and this kind of disappointment is leading at the end to stress as well. The next sign is going to be burnout. Burnout can be a sign and can be also a cause of stress at the same time. What are signs of burnout? Can be negative mood. If you're constantly in negative mood, it's a sign that you may be facing something with burnout. You have no energy, thinking the worst, you're unhappy all the time. That's the burnout personality, And burnout can be caused by circumstances. You have major life changes, like somebody dying in the family, or you're going to a divorce, you're going to moving house or things like that. That kind of changes in your life, some major events can cause you stress and can cause burnout. Or you have overactivity, you have too much things going on at the same time, prolonged stress. So these are a burnout because of the circumstances, because of the stress. Excessive stress is causing a burnout in this case. But burnout can be also caused by your thoughts, It can be caused by negative self-talk. It can be a perceived failure causing a burnout. It can be a negative mood. It can be also some irrational thoughts. And all of these things is compounding up to that you don't even have that much of a stress, but it's compounding up that it's causing burnout for you. So it can be really something real heavy stress going on, or it can be something just going on the thoughts, or a combination of two. So what is the problem with the burnout? You have low efficiency, you have low energy, it may lead to depression, and it is kind of thing, that's just draining you. And burnout can be caused by stress, or when you have burnout, also it's increasing your stress as well. So it's kind of a vicious cycle you're getting into, that your efficiency is going down because of burnout, and you feel more stressed all the time. And this vicious cycle is going down. So if you get burnout, you really need to act quickly to see what you do about that. So the next one is underachievement. The feeling of underachievement is also something that is quite easily causing you some stress. What are the signs of underachievement? You can be disappointed about yourself. If you're constantly disappointed, no, it's not a disappointment about other people. It's a disappointment with yourself. That's the kind of underachievement personality. If you're setting some unrealistic goals and you fail to reach them, that's a sign of underachievement. It's negative self-talk. You're not being productive. Dissatisfaction with a career. Some signs of underachievement, And underachievement can be also two different categories. It can be caused because you're unproductive. It can be some real cause behind it that you don't have the kind of productivity you should. And in this case, you need to organize yourself. You need to get some training, some tools in knowing how to organize yourself in order to get some more productivity and really get on with your life, to really reach your goals and get where you should be. But it can be also sometimes a person who is very successful can still have this kind of underachievement personality because he thinks that he should be reaching more. He thinks that he is not there where he should be, and he still has this kind of feeling of underachievement. Even if he's very successful in life, he can have this feeling of underachievement, And in this case, you need to change your thoughts. You need to adjust your goals. It might be they have some very unrealistic goals, and that is causing you this kind of a feeling. And you need to focus on your achievements instead of focus on the failures. This underachievement personality really need to work on the thoughts. Now the problems again, it's kind of problematic because you constantly have this kind of frustration going on. You have dissatisfaction. It's causing you stress at the end of the day. You were constantly dissatisfied. You're frustrated about life. You're not reaching where you should be, and you should be somewhere else. And this kind of thing is causing you stress. The next sign of stress is tension. Tension can be something that is physical. You just have tense muscles, especially in the neck area. Sometimes this muscular tension can also cause a tension headache and things like that. It can be also some emotional tension, just, going on in your thoughts. What are some signs of tension? You have no time to relax. You're skipping lunch breaks, because things are just tense in your life. You have chronic fatigue. You have headaches. You're feeling pain because of being tense, physically tense. So what are the problems with the tension personality? You have chronic fatigue. You're more prone to make errors. You have muscle pain. And these 7 warning signs, that are going on. Just repeat what the signs we have covered so far. It was anger. Anger is the source of stress, perfectionism, time urgency, disappointment, burnout, underachievement, tension. Now the 7 signs here. What do they have in common? What do you think? Do you want to guess what is the common thread of all of them? What do you think?
I think that this is Shelby.
Uh-huh.
I think that to me, the ones that I've been connecting with on there are things I could probably control if I just spend some time on the causes and back off a little bit, either by changing my expectations or making my things to do list smaller, and yeah, things like that. I think
So you're able to change. Uh-huh.
I identified a lot that I think I could are external or even internal that I actually do have control over if I slowed down enough to think about it.
Okay, and so you're saying that many things I can control. That's already a good point. But what I see when I look at this list here, all of them, to a certain amount, are influenced by my thoughts. The way I think about certain things, the way I perceive everything is going to influence all of these things. Anger, if I think that somebody else is going to do something wrong and we need to fix that, you're afraid that somebody is getting out of control. That kind of anger, is going to make you do the wrong thing. But if you change the way you think about it, it can affect you. Perfectionism, it's a wrong thought pattern. If you change that, you control your stress. Time urgency. You can change the way you organize the time, or even change the way you think about the time. Disappointment, your disappointment is because of what? It's going on in your thoughts. The way you perceive the situation is causing disappointment. Burnout, we see that sometimes there's some great reason for it, but sometimes it's also your thoughts. And the achievement, it can be that you are not organized, so it can be also just in your thoughts. Tensions as well. It's the way that you perceive your life. So all of the things, it can be changed if you work on your thoughts. That's something very interesting. So you can control this. So really, you are in charge. You are in charge to controlling your stress. There are ways you can really work on that. And it's possible to dominate your stress, to really have a domination where you are in charge of your stress. It's possible. So look at this picture. What is this lady doing here? You see, she is getting a horse riding lesson. It's probably one of the first lessons. It's sitting on the horse, you need to get a feeling. How is that? And then you need to learn some techniques, to learn, when you're getting into a sprint, how do you hold on, how you get into the right rhythm here, and everything, how you control the bridle and everything. You need to learn how to ride a horse, It's a process of learning, So what's wrong with this guy here, What do you think? Look at this picture, So either the horse is very unruly, or this guy has done something, he has treated the horse in the wrong way, But either way, he's not in control of this horse, And that's many times what's happening with the stress, that stress is in control of your life, and it's kind of throwing you off, and it's kind of doing the things with you and everything else, And you think that life is really bad, But it may be that you just didn't learn how to deal with the stress the right way. You didn't train the horse, or you didn't learn how to deal with the horse,
Well, now he's talking.
What do you think? Didn't want to comment? You see that's the kind of thing that's happening here, Sometimes. But if you learn how to control the horse, you can do all kinds of things, You can get in the sprint, and you're really having a good time, sprinting. You can even jump obstacles, You're in control because you have learned how to control the horse, You have learned how to dominate the horse. You've learned how things are going, So what is your relationship to stress? Is it at the left or at the right? How you deal with the stress? What are you really doing? And the question is, do you believe that you can learn how to control your stress? Huh? Do you need to learn how to dominate your stress? Do you need to learn something more? You need to learn some techniques. You need to learn some ways to control your stress in a better way. Think about it, And what does it do to you if your stress is out of control? Think about it, if stress is out of control, what is it doing to you? How is it affecting your health, What is the effect of that, Think about it, what is it doing to you? Is it important for you to control your stress, Do you need to learn that? So we have put together something, that can help you with controlling your stress, can help you to really dominate your stress, to really learn these techniques the same way like you learn to ride a horse, You can learn to control your stress, And we have put together this program that's called Stress Management Tools, It's a kind of a toolbox. We have different techniques and different things that you work on to work on the stress, it's just the right tools, Just to think that you need to work on it. That you can really laser focus. Where's the problem? Figure out the problem and work on the root cause of the stress, And we have also just recently partnered with Stress Master International, and they have a stress mastery questionnaire. And this questionnaire is working on these 7 points that we have discussed today, We're looking at the stress warning signs: anger, perfectionism, time emergencies, disappointment, burnout, underachievement, tension. All of these signs here, we're working on them. And this questionnaire is going to kind of evaluate in each of these points, how are you doing? What is going on in your life? And after that, after seeing the stress warning signs, you're getting a scale for each one of them, and you get some clear instruction, if you're high on one of these points, what are the things that you need to work on in order to control that, So you have a clear instruction, what can you do to control the sources, the root causes of your stress, After that, it looks also some stress effects like physical stress effects, what is doing to your blood pressure, glucose, other effects on your health, on life work satisfaction, and also the stressors that can be major life events, like, divorce or death or moving, things like that, or some hassles that just happen in day-to-day life, It's going to evaluate all of that to have a very complete picture, what is going on in your situation of your stress, and giving you then recommendations, what can you do to deal with just this area that needs to work on. Then we go on with the training program, and we have some lessons, but we have a weekly lesson where we look at things like stress symptoms, we look at stress addiction, stress sources. Where's the stress coming from? You need to analyze what is the source of the stress, how can you get to the root and deal with that, You can eliminate some stressors. What can you do to eliminate one of the root causes and control some other things? And also lifestyle. What can you do with lifestyle? What can you do with diet, exercise, sleep, and other lifestyle issues that can control your stress? Time management, I can work on better time management, emotional stress control, perfectionism. It's a big thing that we're going to talk about as well. How to set healthy boundaries, purpose in my life, and all of these things, how does it work together, to really have the right tools to control the stress from the root, and getting the right tools in your hand in order to be prepared to really face the stress in a more effective way, So what's involved in this program? You have this starting us with stress mastery questionnaire. You have seen the 7 points and the other factors that involved there. We have 12 weekly meetings, where we are discussing these points we have talked about. You get the recordings of meetings. If you miss one of these meetings, you can look at the recordings, or you can refresh it afterwards if you want. You get also an ebook to consult every day as a refresher. What have we covered in these topics here? You get some practical worksheets. Every day you're going to apply what have we learned. How do you apply it practically for you? What is going to make a difference for you? So just to think it through, you have these worksheets. And then we have also one-on-one coaching, you know, besides the training programs where you have also some opportunities already to ask some questions and get your feedback and everything. Once in a month, we're going to meet one-on-one with you, you know, I'm meeting with you, and we're going to work on a strategy. We're going to really analyze the stress, look at the questionnaire, look at the things what's going on, and analyze the source of the stress and kind of trace out together some kind of a strategy. What can you do now to control the stress, you know? And we will look at how to achieve really what you want to do to, what is the most efficient way for you to control the stress. You know? So if you order today, I want to give you an extra bonus, you know, I'm pretty good in figuring out, you know, how to organize finances, you know, if you have any things with that, if money is tight for you, you know, you just I will have a look at what's going on with you, and I can also get some analysis for you and analyze how can you save some money. You know, sometimes doing that can even get the investment of the course back for you. You know, so here's the link of signing up, and I think Kendra can put the link in the chat. So have a look at this program, you know, what can it do to you, and think about it, you know, how is it stress affecting you? What can you do really to control the stress a better way? So really think about it, you know, is it something that you really need to work on? Is it something, do you need some better strategies? Do you need to learn how to dominate the stress? Do you need to have the right tools in your hands? So what can you do in your life if you really are on top of your stress, you know? Think about it, you know? How much is it worth for you, you know? What difference does it make in your health, you know? How much is it worth to have a better health, you know? Think about that and have a look at the program, what you want to do about it. All right, I think, Kendra, you're here. Maybe we can look
at. Yes, I am here, and I am putting in the link there, how people can sign up if they are interested in getting more information on stress management. And there was a question that was posed: do you believe that you can learn how to control your stress? And I think, Martin, as you said, that is the beginning part of it, is making a decision in your mind, and also redirecting or changing your thought process. I like someone's comment there that they put on changing your perception or how you perceive those 7 factors of stress. So I will be putting that in the chat here if you want more information about signing up and how you can sign up for it.
Yeah, I just wonder, is there any questions? Any question what we covered today? Any questions about the program? Whatever. If there's any questions, you know, just raise your hand or put it in the chat or whatever you feel better or comfortable.
I'm just curious to know, Martin, from this group, how many people felt from what they learned today that they can manage stress. If you felt that way, could you just put a 1 in the chat? I think there is some noise, if you don't mind muting your microphone for us. All right, thank you.
Just muted it.
Yeah, if I'm interested to hear from you all, put a 1 if you think that you have the ability to manage stress. And you can be honest, you can put a 0 if you still feel like you're not sure or you're still struggling with the idea. Okay, I see Shelby 1, Carla 1. I won't call out names for those who may not want their name there, but feel free to let us hear from you. I'm so happy to hear that there are a few that are seeing that they do have the ability to manage the stress, and with the right tools as well, could be helpful for you. Very good. Okay, I see another one. Very good. All right. So if you don't have any questions, I would ask if you could also type in the chat if you have anything, any point that stood out to you that you think that you can take away from leaving this session today. So anything that Martin has spoken or that you saw in the illustration. I love the illustration of the horse and riding on a horse. I remember my first time learning how to ride a horse, and I did not feel in control. And I could see how that feels sometimes with just life stressors. You feel out of control. But once I learned and got the hang of it, I felt that I was in control. And that is a great illustration of once you learn how to manage it, you can feel more in control. So that's what a point was stood out for me. What about you all? Anybody want to put at least one point that they received from today that they can take with them, just as one step that you can start with? Okay. All right. It takes effort. Okay. Thank you. And that's definitely a good point. It takes effort. And also, but taking one step at a time is all you need to do is take a baby step. I call it baby steps. I can learn that a lot of my stress can be controlled, and there are ways to do this. Yes, absolutely. There are tools and steps in order to learn how to manage stress. Okay, yeah, I got you, Shelby. Well, Shelby, thanks. I see you put here in the comment. I'm glad it was helpful. If you have too much on your plate, you can take something off. And earlier, Margaret said managing stress or managing it wrongly can make it worse, or procrastinating and perfectionism. And someone said in our group also that learning that it starts with them, that they can make the decision to make a change and change their mindset. Another one I heard was learning to say no. Learning to say no was another one.
Yeah. Having too much on the plate. Really,
And
that's
getting
something.
proper. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Many times we think, we need to do everything, we think about, trying to do everything at the same time. And that's very much in this time urgency kind of thinking, you need to use the time. But in reality, we can really learn how to set priorities, take something off, see what is really important, what really makes a difference, and concentrate on the things that are really going to make a difference.
I learned that I'm not in this by myself. There are a lot of us, and so thank you for being here, everyone. It's a good support, and I'm just trying to learn a little bit at a time, and try not to rush it.
Yeah,
But we're not alone. That's good.
that's right. And getting in the meeting, you see others have the same kind of struggles, but if you pull together, we kind of can get this kind of support to see that others are going through the same thing, and then also to work on strategies together. We can learn together, how to grow, how to find some efficient ways to deal with these things. Yes. All right. So, any other comments? Any other things that you have got of today?
I appreciated what Gail said about remembering Bible verses, like I will not fear bad news because my trust is in the Lord. And I think she mentioned another one about having perfect peace, also from the Lord.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, it's something, you know, when you have kind of a spiritual foundation, it can give you a way to see stress in a different way. No? You just get a different kind of perception of things. Yes. All right. Any other questions, comments, or something that you wanted to share? If not, then what to do when it seems that everything is priority? That's the thing, you know. That's a wrong thought pattern, you know. You think that everything is important, but in reality, you will figure out, you know, what is the most important thing. You know, if you really think it through, you put it on paper, you will figure out, you know, what is the most urgent thing. You always need to see where to put the priorities, you know, and doing that, you can get a good idea, you know, what to do first. Don't think you need to do everything at the same time, because you can't, you know. But getting a list of priorities, you know, figure it out, you know. You have some ways to work it out one by one and just get off the stress that you think that you need to do everything at the same time. And there are certain moments that will be more stressful because there will be too many urgent things going on, or too many things that is really going to be important. But there's also some way to set priorities and, you know, get rid of some of the things that are really not the most pressing things, you know. All right. Other thoughts? If there's no other thoughts, you know, really think about the program. You know, I will show you again a little bit about it. I hope that you are going to be in there. Take a chance to really work on your stress, you know, because thinking about it, you know, if you start to work it in the right way, you know, you have the tools, you know, what is going to do it for you if you have the right tools to control your stress? Think about it, you know. You need to really have a clear plan, you know. If you do the same thing that you did, you know, all the last years, you know, where are you going to be in 5 years from now? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? You know? So you really need to have some strategies, you know, to work on the stress in a constructive way, you know. And I hope that this program is going to help you, that you're able to get in this program and get really the things that you need to pull it over for you to get more organized with the stress, you know. And you've seen today that, you know, there are really these 7 points here that are causing quite a bit of stress. And when you have a strategy on that, it's making already quite a bit of difference, you know. You need to know where you're standing at. You know, to make first an analyze where is the situation, and then find a way to really have a clear strategy. And I think, you know, the questionnaire is a good starting point where you can get that work out, you know. And this questionnaire normally costs $95 for each one of them, $95 if you buy it separately. And I'm glad that we can include that in our program. That we have found some ways to include in this program without any extra charge for you. Then we go in about all these things. You need to figure out, where is the source of the stress. You really need to have a clear picture about that. And knowing that, what is the strategy you were going to use to eliminate some of the stressors? What you do with the lifestyle. There's a good complementary thing. First you need to go to the root cause. But then there's so much we can do in the way that we using our lifestyle to give us support in this thing. You will be quite a bit more resistant to stress if you have the right lifestyle. That really makes a difference as well. Time management, that's a big one for many. Even financial management, we're going to work on that as well. The emotional reaction, we've seen that pretty much everything is related to faulty thought patterns, and the wrong thoughts are going to lead to certain emotions that are negative, And we can work that out to figure out the reason of that, get to the root of that, and change that. That makes quite a bit of difference, for most of people. Perfectionism, I've seen in one of the groups, most of people were struggling with that, and I see that really frequently coming up, and really going to go into deep depths on what we can do about that. How to set healthy boundaries is going to be important as well. And if you have a purpose, it really makes a difference also how you perceive your stress. That's the last one we're going to work on. So you're going to have all of this in this package here, So let's have a look at the costs, one-on-one coaching. Normally, you're getting 4 one-on-one coaching calls with me, 1 hour calls. We really get into depths what you do about these things, the stress. Each of these calls, normally you would be charged maybe, a person would charge maybe $100 each of the calls, So I put a value of $400 for that. The 12 meetings, if you say like something like $20 per meeting, you have $240 on that. You get the recordings, you get the supporting materials. The questionnaire by itself is $95. You see the value that the program has, and I don't know how much it's worth for you, So, but I'm not going to charge you this price, So what do you think I should charge you for that? How much is it worth for you? How much is it worth for you? I really want to make it affordable for you. I want to have a price that you can pay, So I really put it down the lowest price I can. So I have the complete package here for $296. You get all of that, the coaching course, you get the 12 meetings, you get the questionnaire, you get the supporting materials, the recordings, everything, $296. If that's too much, or you think you don't need the coaching course, you can make it for $148. You get all the rest, you get the meetings, you get recordings, the questionnaire. You just don't get the 4 coaching courses included in this package. If you take out the coaching course, it's $148. So you can choose one of the other options, And if for any reasons it's really, you're in a financial bind, it's something that you really can't make, and it's impossible for you to pay this kind of price, talk to me, We will find a solution to work it out, Just see what we can do about it, I don't want that finance is really a hindrance for you. So really think about it, what kind of difference it's going to make for you if you have stress under control, And have a look at the page here, Stress management tools. Go into this page and have a look at it, And I want to give this extra bonus. If you sign up today, I make a free financial analysis for you. I will analyze your finances. I will work with you on a plan on how to organize your finances a better way. And you probably will, within a year, get the investment of your package back completely. If you organize your finances right, your investment is going to be returned in just this analysis, knowing how to organize your finances in a better way. So if you sign up today, I will throw in this extra bonus, to really have a session with you to look how can you get rid of your financial stress, how can we really make a difference here also to organize your finances in a better way. All right, this is what I wanted to share with you. Any other questions or anything else? Otherwise, I will try to get the link again. Let's get this link. Everyone. Putting this link again. And really, I hope if you have any kind of things happening with the stress, you need some help with that, I hope to see you in this program. I hope we can work together, we can have this kind of community to work together on figuring out how can deal with this, to learn together the techniques that it takes to get your stress under control. All right. Shabby, you're trying to speak. All right.
No, just saying thank you and goodbye.
All
I'll
right.
see you again. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you for everybody showing up, and I hope it was helpful for you, and I really hope to see some of you also in the program.